Well, hello there. I'm here today on the set of a brand new Access show with a brand new host. The show is called HTV, Heather's Talk in the Valley, and the host is Miss Heather Ramsay. Heather, you must be so excited.
Yes, I am.
Now, as soon as the cameras came on, I'm guessing our viewers were a little bit surprised at your age. Can I ask how old you are?
I'm 11, grade 6.
What made you decide to do a show of your own?
Well, I've often volunteered at Shaw with camera work and stuff, and I thought it would be a fun idea to have a show of my own.
And actually, if any of you saw our coverage of the Totem Tournament, Heather was up on a scaffold operating camera for the entire thing. Now, Heather, even though you are 11 years old, you're not going to be interviewing other 11-year-olds. You're going to be interviewing some of the movers and shakers. How are you choosing them?
Well, I'm going to be interviewing some interesting people I know and heard of that seem like they'd be interesting.
Well, to say they're interesting is an understatement. I mean, you've got the mayor coming in, I think, for your very first show. So I just want to say, well done, Heather Ramsay. This is a big undertaking, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
And I think from there, there's nothing else to do, but let's take a look at HTV.
Hello, I'm Heather Ramsay, and today I'm interviewing Pam Craig, a school district trustee and a member of the Mount Arrowsmith Rotary. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Heather. I'm pleased to be here. Very interesting watching you learn a new thing. Thank you for inviting me.
What do you do as a school district trustee?
Well, probably many things, but oftentimes I'm asked about what I do as a trustee, and I always respond, especially to the students and young people, that it's really my job as a trustee to make sure that we have a good place for you to learn, that we have lots of resources for young people to investigate and research, and that we have great teachers, and also we have really safe and welcoming buildings and schools that you come to every day. So it's so important that a trustee make sure that they follow those key things first. And then after that, there's lots of other work. We work hard to make sure that all the money that government gives us is properly balanced and accounted for. And we also make sure that the really only employee that a trustee or a board of education has is the superintendent of the school district. And so that's the other important part of our work, is to have a superintendent in place that we work closely with and advise and help that person do the job of managing the whole district.
So what's your favorite part of your job?
Favorite part is when I get to go and watch kids and see the students doing things in school, watching them do their sports, watching them do artwork, and one of the biggest things is watching them do some of their special presentations. They'll do some study and present a project and tell trustees visiting what they've done, what they've learned. That to me is absolutely the most favorite thing that I get to do. Haven't been able to do a lot of it the last couple of years because of our issue with the pandemic, but occasionally we have had a chance to really visit with students right from kindergarten right to grade 12.
What's the hardest part?
Oh, the hardest part is deciding where the small little bits of money that we have to use is spent. And one of the important programs that we always try to help out with is a kayak course out on the West Coast, because we also have schools in Ucluelet and Tofino and Bamfield. So there's a special course that kids can take out there, and that is one course that we've tried really hard to keep ready each year for students that want to take that course. So it's tough sometimes because there's not always a lot of funding, And so we have to struggle to make sure that there's a balance of use of those little bits of extras.
So how long have you been a trustee?
Well, I've been a trustee from 1990 to 2002 and stepped back at that time because we had an illness in my family. And after a number of years, I came back in 2011 and now am still a trustee. So this year, in 2022, is my 23rd year as a trustee. And I recently attended a provincial conference and I was given a life membership in the British Columbia School Trustee Association. If you've been a trustee for more than 20 years, you get a special designation. So I have a special pin that they gave me. It's a gold apple.
What made you want to be a trustee?
Well, I think the biggest reason was that I, as a adult who had lived and grown up here in Port Alberni, I know how important it was to support young people and all ages, right through from little children right through to young adults. And one way to do that was to be a trustee and work closely in making sure that those young people had the resources they needed to learn and grow up in a safe place. So that's been my driving force since I started in 1990.
Did you like school when you were a kid?
Yeah, I liked school. Yeah, I sure did. Enjoyed everything. Worked in different clubs in school, played some of the sports, enjoyed volleyball and basketball in particular. Port Alberni is a very historical place for basketball. When I was growing up, the local basketball team, Alberni Athletics, went to the Canadian Championships and won. So many, many times I spent at the halls where the basketball was played, and so enjoyed that as a student at school. And remember the totem tournament. I'm sure you've heard of the totem tournament. Started when I was still in school. So I've actually attended every totem tournament that we've had in our school district. So it's been a long time, but my favorite.
So what were your favorite subjects?
My favorite subject was history. One of the main reasons was because one of my family on the one side came to this community in about 1856 or somewhere in there. So I always was curious as to why they came, what the life was for them when they were here. It was a difficult time. They didn't have all the special things we have now, including electricity at the time. So I really enjoyed learning about that and how they developed and grew their family, and they did farming, they had a grocery store, and how the times were so different then as compared to even when I was in school. So that's a long time ago, over 100 years ago. So that really sparked my interest in history, and then it moved on to learning more about Canada and how it began and developed as a country.
Was there a teacher that inspired you to care about school?
Yes, for sure, and there were many, many teachers. But I think one person that I remember often, as I do remember many others, was Mr. Nash. And he had really bright red hair, and he taught many classes and many different courses, of course, but one of his most favorite things to do was music. And at the time he had a club for choir, so I was able to participate in that and practice during lunch hours and after school. And oftentimes we would go to competitions around the island and sing all the kinds of different, some difficult pieces as well. So that, he left an impression. But one other person that I met last night at an event, whom I haven't seen for a while, was my grade 6 teacher at the old Calgary school, which isn't there anymore, but I went to Calgary school. And I came into the event and he came right to me and said, "How are you doing, Pam?" So I couldn't believe that he would have remembered me all those years. And he's still in the community. So lots of favorites, but those two in particular.
So you're in Aerosmith Rotary, so how long have you been involved?
I've been involved with Aerosmith Rotary a couple of times. I took a break in the early 2000s, but it's about 14 years altogether. And one of the reasons that I really enjoyed Rotary was many of the people that belong to Rotary think the same way I do. They want to help the community, they want to do things that support the community, and especially young people. We're very focused on literacy programs. We also helped out with the high school students when they were taking their food safe courses and provided the monies to get their certification and things like that. So it's another way for me to support young people in the community and the community as a whole. And I think it contributes to people brightening the community and having a lovely place to live with supportive service groups such as Rotary. And we worked really hard to develop the banner painting program for Argyle Street. And I know you have participated in that. And it comes out mid-May, June each year and brightens Argyle Street. And we also did the big mural on the CME building at the bottom of Argyle that represents our First Nation, Tashak Nation, and their history. So again, I've come around to history, and helping support the community through Rotary, I think, has been very gratifying to be able to do that.
So why did you join Rotary?
Well, I got to know some of the people that were in Rotary, and I really appreciated their focus and their plans and what they wanted to do to support the community. And so when I met them, I thought, this is a group that I can help out with as well, and enjoyed working with them. And they all have the same focus and the same ideas and work hard to support our community and do things that are needed to support all kinds of areas of the community as well. And recently we've worked really hard to help some of the less fortunate in our community, helping out with the Salvation Army food truck on Thursday nights, and really enjoyed that and seen a difference by our time. So it's really worthwhile.
So you used to drive race cars. How did you get?
I got started in racing when I was a teenager. A close friend of mine who I ended up marrying had a kart. Have you seen karts? They're very low to the ground and go very, very fast, have no fenders, no covers, nothing. So we started with kart racing on Vancouver Island and got interested in stock car racing and truly enjoyed it, enjoyed running high-powered vehicles and racing in a circuit in the northwest of the United States and Canada. So enjoyed that a lot and still like to watch racing and watch how fast they go. One of the things that I really enjoyed about the racing was really understanding the engines, how the car is put together, all the mechanical parts that are needed to make the car go fast and keep going. Some of those races are anywhere from 3.5 to 5 hours, so they have to make sure that those machines are well prepared and can stand that length of time at those speeds. So that part of it was fascinating to me, so I enjoyed that part.
So what's the best part about
racing? I think it's also about the people that you get to meet. You get to meet some pretty talented people with lots of knowledge and understanding of how the machine, the car works itself, and they're focused on that, and they work hard to make sure that they do a good job and prepare things well and put in many, many long hours. So that part of it to me was the most interesting. Most teams that I participated in had maybe anywhere from 10 to 12 people that were directly on looking after the vehicle, making sure everything was right. And some of the teams, professional teams, have a lot more people, but that was a smaller end of the racing world that I was in.
What do you do as a mayor?
That is a great question. You know, a lot of things. It's interesting, when I decided to run for mayor, a lot of people asked me, what do you expect to do? And after my first year working in this role, I think that I realized that what the job of mayor is and what you kind of think the job of mayor is going to be as you're getting started, certainly very different. So my role really is leader of the community at functions. I get to be the spokesperson of the community, which is just a really cool job to get to go out and represent the community. But my most important role is the leader of council. So the 7 of us working together are responsible for making all of the important decisions in the community. And as mayor, I get to be the head of that group and get to keep council on track. Often I joke with my council that although I'm just about the youngest one on council, I am the mom of council. So there's a lot of similarities between parenting and being the mayor, for sure.
Is there something that you are really proud of that you and the council have done?
Yeah, there's so many things, but I think that for myself, what I am most proud of in the just about 4 years now that we have been in this role is acquiring the SOMAS land. So that was a really big project for us. For me, it was the reason that I decided to run for mayor. Was I really wanted to see a change in the use of those lands. It's 43 acres right in the heart of our community on the waterfront. I wanted to see a big change there, and now the city owns those lands and we're able to really determine what we want to see and have an active role in changing the future of the waterfront in Port Alberni. So that is, I would say, the thing that I am most proud of, the step that we've taken that I'm most proud of. And if I could choose one other thing, I would say how my council has worked together. We really enjoy working with each other. We are able to debate and disagree and still leave the room and be friends and enjoy each other. And usually when we do disagree, it's respectful, and that's something I'm really proud of as well.
So you are also a mortgage broker. So what does a mortgage broker do?
Great question. A lot of people don't know. So a mortgage broker is really like almost a personal shopper for a mortgage. So instead of just going into one bank and understanding what you qualify for with them or what their interest rates are, I have about 25 different lenders that I can work with. So I help a lot of young people and a lot of first-time home buyers buy houses in Port Alberni, which is really rewarding. And what I love about Port Alberni is it's certainly gotten a lot less affordable over the last couple of years, unfortunately, but a lot of people in their early 20s have purchased houses here, and that's something that you can't necessarily do in every community. So that's something I hope we're able to keep. That affordability is really important.
So you also own Brie & Barrels. Mm-hmm. So why did you want to run a restaurant?
Oh, I question that all the time. Why did I want to run a restaurant? Well, I started Brie & Barrel really because actually I went to Victoria one weekend to visit 2 of my sisters who live in Victoria. And we went to a wine bar restaurant there called The Farmer's Daughter, and they had wine flights and delicious cheeses and just really nice light meals. And I thought, this is something that Port Alberni doesn't have. My sisters and I had an awesome time that evening, just hanging out, relaxing, somewhere that was a little nicer and just easy to sit even if you're not having a meal, and just enjoy time with friends and family. And so I came back to Port Alberni. I couldn't stop thinking about that place, and I just thought, this is something I'd love to see in our community. So started thinking about where it could go, and I'm a really big believer in the uptown area. So I started looking for spaces uptown and found the perfect spot in the old Carter Shoes building that I've always loved, and just really saw the vision right away and started working on it. So it's running a restaurant is a lot of work. Luckily, I've got a really good staff and really great group of people who do most of the work for me. I always kind of joke that I just get to enjoy the restaurant. I don't do a lot of working at it, luckily, but yeah, I enjoy being there, and I enjoy the energy, and the people who come in are usually really positive about the community and always want to talk about the things that they see happening and the momentum. And so it's really energizing to be there and talk with customers who are just really excited about the changes they're seeing in Port Alberni.
So what's your favorite part about running a restaurant?
Ooh. Good question. I would say the staff of people that I get to work with. Yeah, I have a really good group of people at Brie & Barrel. Most of them have worked for us just about since we opened, which is really nice. It's coming up on 3 years now since we've opened, and yeah, just the same people, which is so nice. So they are really good at what they do. They're a lot of fun to be around, and because they've worked for me for so long, I feel like I've just got a lot of trust in them. I can leave them to run my business when I don't have time to be there, and always have full confidence in what they're doing.
So thank you for coming here,
Yeah.
and thank you for watching HTV.
Thank you so much for having me.